So first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for logging in, logging on, watching us. I know there are a lot of questions, a lot of things going on right now with this virus, and it's a very unsettling, uneasy time. Very scary for a lot of people. But tonight we're here to answer a lot of your questions, keep you informed. We're going to have Connie and Mike, a couple who had to postpone their wedding. They're getting married at the Venetian, or were in May, and had to move it to August. So we'll speak to them in a few minutes about their event and how that took place. Also, Danielle from Blissful Planning. Wow, tongue twister. We'll ask her how things are going on. We've spoken to a bunch of people in the industry over the last few days. Venue managers, general managers, salespeople, other DJs, and we have a lot of information. Wedding Wire and the Knot did a live blog thingamajiggy the other day too. I don't even know what you would call it. Webinar. And there's just a lot of uncertainty, and I feel bad and sympathize with all the people who are dealing with this right now. I hope everybody is okay. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask down below. Everybody's waving. Hello. Being quarantined with a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old has been quite interesting. I don't know how many times you can watch Frozen 2 in succession, but I'm there. I got all the songs down. We're good to go. But let's join in. Hello. Let's bring in Connie and Mike, and let's talk to them. Let's see what's going on, how I do this. Connie and Mike, here we go. Bang. Request. Ed. Connecting. Hey, guys.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. So I'll reintroduce you to everybody watching tonight. This is Connie and Mike. They're getting married. We're set to get married May 3rd at the Venetian. Now it's August 10th. How you guys hanging? You good?
We're better now.
Yeah, I feel a lot better now that we made a decision. It was definitely tough last week, but yeah, I feel a lot better after making a decision on it.
So when this all came down, I mean, talk to me about your initial thoughts and concerns, and like what went through your mind. What did your friends, your family, hit me with all that? How did it all go down?
So we made our decision last Thursday to actually postpone it, but I would say like this time last week, like Monday night, we were still full go with like planning on still having it in May. And then as I feel like, things change every hour, and you have family contacting you, friends contacting you to kind of try and push you one way or the other. We slept on it a couple of days, and by Thursday we're kind of just like, you know what, it probably makes sense because we want, all of our grandmothers are still alive, knock on wood. We wanted all of them to be able to come. I got a bunch of my groomsmen are all across the country. We wanted them to be able to come. So it was a matter of who was important and who we wanted there, and we felt like if we still did it in May, even if this stuff passes over in the next month or so, a lot of people probably wouldn't have had as much fun as we had liked them to, just because they were scared of what could happen and so forth. So
sure.
Yeah,
so let me ask you. Yeah, Connie, I'm sorry.
No, that was the biggest part of our decision. It just came down to like who was important to us and who would come and who wouldn't come. And May was right on the cusp of that CDC 8-week mark, so we kind of fell right outside their window for that ban. So that was kind of another part of the decision that weighed in, because we didn't really know which way it would go. But now that the news keeps reporting otherwise, it kind of was just in our best interest, we felt, to postpone.
For sure. And we had all of course, March and April has moved. I would say 40%, maybe 35% of May has moved. So there's still a lot of people holding out hope. And it's kind of difficult for them. And some of them might be on here with us now. I haven't been able to read everybody's name down here. But, what's difficult is you just don't know. As much as we've heard, listening to the president, vice president, all these doctors, reading articles, watching everything that we have, the only thing we know is that we're uncertain about anything. We just don't know. And I think that that's where people lie in wake, and they're just very nervous and they're uncertain. So you had to reach out to all these different vendors. How did that go? Obviously, it was easy for us. You moved it to a Monday. We were available. But what was the venue like? When you called them up, what did they say? Were they willing to work with you? How did that go down?
So we had initially contacted them right when the CDC came out with that 50-person or less out with that 50 person or less, ban. And we were like, oh, what do you guys, actually, no, we contacted them before that. Before they did like the 200 person less, like, are you moving weddings? What are you guys doing? And they said, at this time, we're not really sure. And then when the 50 person or more ban came out, we called them again. And then they said that they had already moved all of the March and all of the April weddings that were in that 8-week mark. So really, they kind of were strictly following the CDC guidelines with the 8-week mark. So we fell right outside that window. But they did tell us that they had moved all of their March and all their April weddings at that point.
Okay. Now, your photo, video, florist, all that stuff, how did that, everybody was...
We went in priority order. So we wanted to make sure you were going to still be our MC and you guys were still going to be doing our event. We're working with Premier Photography, which a lot of people I know, New Jersey, Staten Island, have used before. So we wanted to make sure the photographer, the DJ, and the venue were all going to be the same. And then we kind of worried about the florist and the other stuff at a lesser priority. So we wanted to make sure that the 3 big things were all going to be in sync. And then the other stuff we kind of put on the back burner until we had a postponement date.
Sure. How did you reach out to all your guests? Were you shooting texts to people? Are you sending out new invitations? How's that going?
I don't think everyone still knows yet. We're still kind of working on that. And
you guys can
well, they're going to know now. There's 29 people on here.
Yeah.
So.
Some people found. I mean, we texted most of our friends and my mom and Connie's mom. I texted some of the family, but some people that got lost in the way, they found out because our hotel block canceled all the rooms
before we could tell people.
They found out that
wow.
way. So.
Wow.
My friend's like, by the way, I just had a cancellation for your wedding. I'm guessing you're postponing. And I was like,
yeah, right, exactly.
Didn't get around to it, but yeah, they did it like within hours of us telling them we postponed. So some vendors have been a little more proactive, and then others have kind of been, all right, like just get back to us, like the limos and stuff like that. Those are like less of priority stuff. They're like, all right, don't worry, we'll send you a contract when we can. So that's it. But like I said, the 3 most important things were our venue, our entertainment, and our photography. So that's how we kind of prioritized it for us.
Great. So obviously there's other couples dealing with this now. What advice would you give them if their wedding is in May or June, or they're contemplating this? Like, what do you think they should be thinking about now?
I'll start off and say it's not easy. I mean, this was probably it's a wedding, so it's not like for death, but it was a really tough decision for us because you go through all this planning and all this stuff and you spend all this money on invitations and things like that, and you make it a point to make it really special. So to kind of have to do it a second time around, we weren't really too keen on the idea, but Mike will tell you why we end up choosing to postpone.
Yeah, and I mean, not every couple can go like this route, but what we decided to do is just not listen to even our parents, just not let anyone influence the decision. And then we just kind of decided like who was most important that we wanted there, and what was most important. And the way things are going now, it just didn't seem plausible to really have it at the beginning of May. But we thought at least pushing it to August, hopefully things will kind of die down and everyone will feel a little more comfortable. So that was kind of how we based the decision on postponing. I mean,
the people that we also decided and figured that the people who we really wanted to be there will be there for us, even if it's a Monday. We're calling it the New Friday. We're making it a very elegant happy hour on a Monday night. So we're the only ones that I know of now having a weekday wedding, but when we did call our venue, they did say that they were down to Mondays and Thursdays, and that's kind of how they were rebooking people. Because, I mean, most people know the Venetian, it's a huge venue, and they don't really have they didn't have any weekend dates available, honestly, at night. So that's kind of what happened for us, and we personally just didn't want to postpone another year because we've already had a 2-year engagement. We're actually getting married on the day that Mike proposed 2 years ago, which is why we chose August 10th on a Monday.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Yeah, at least it still has meaning for us. And we're still going to get legally married on May 3rd. So for people who are worried
I've been hearing about that too,
yeah, so people who are worried about like what will happen, do you want to wait? We're still going to do May 3rd because it's still a date we picked, and we're going to get legally married then, and we're just going to have the big party then on August 10th. So, and it's a 30th birthday party for both of us too, because we both turned 30 in August. So a lot of good stuff in August. So that's how we came to that.
And you're locked in the house together for 8 weeks, so you're really going to know if this is the person you want to marry. This is it.
Well, Mike and I were built for quarantining because he works from home a lot and I have a really flexible schedule, so we spent a lot of time together anyway, so this is really like no new news for us, but the whole not being able to go outside and stuff like that, that's the struggle, because our poor dog is like, guys, seriously, when are we getting out? So that's the tough part, but we're taking it in
Right.
stride. Thankfully, we have our health, and we're in pretty good spirits now that
Yeah.
the weight is lifted off our shoulders, because it was a lot of stress for sure.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that I would say, not just just in crisis mode anyway, you always just have to find the silver lining in things. Your mindset is what's most important, because I can't change what's going on in the world. It's not just my wedding. It's somebody in Argentina. It's somebody in Denmark. It's somebody it doesn't matter. The whole world is being postponed. Everything is moved. I moved my summer body to 2021. We put that on postponement. So I'm glad to see you guys laughing and smiling, because this is obviously a very difficult time for everybody. And if you could stay light and airy about it and have your wits and not want to strangle each other in a few months, then I think everything is going to be great. So I really thank you guys for coming on. Is there anything else you want to add? Anything that you'd want to mention to the people watching tonight?
No, I just want to truly, I'm going to say this, to be honest with you, we are working with really great people, starting from you guys to the florist, to our photographer, to the Venetian. Everyone has been really understanding throughout this time. I mean, it's stressful for you guys too as vendors. It's stressful as the people who run venues, and it's a lot to handle, but I really have so much more confidence now knowing that we have a good backbone, because everyone has made the postponing so much easier than I could have hoped, honestly. Like, it was really simple to plan a wedding a second time around compared to the first.
I mean, we thought it was going to be a headache, but we pretty much had every vendor booked within like 2 hours and had signed contracts within like probably 4 hours. So it was pretty seamless.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I tell people when I meet with them. I'm like, these are, we never talk about this, of course, in case the coronavirus pops up, you need to be working with great people. But it's important to work with great companies that have these kind of resources and are willing to work with you and aren't willing to sacrifice those things when it comes to the importance of your day. Like, just giving you a hard time. You have to have a heart in these moments. Yes, we're running a business. We understand that there's, things in place for us that are there contractually, but this is a monumental moment in your lives. It's a moment you'll never forget. Now it's a story that you'll tell your kids and grandkids and stuff like that. But your vendors have to have a heart. They have to be willing to work with you and show compassion and be willing to be flexible. So I'm glad that this has all been smooth for you. I thank you again for coming on. I appreciate your time. Obviously, we'll be in touch again very soon to do the finals.
But
we have some time.
We'll talk to you guys soon.
Yes, and we'll be in touch. Thanks, guys. Be safe.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good one.
Got it. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. Wow, they're super awesome. There's a lot of couples out there now that don't have that kind of mindset. And I'm not speaking about anybody specifically, but I know people, they worry. They're concerned. These dates are important to them. They've been planning. I hear one of the big concerns is brides whose dresses were made for the spring, and now they're getting married in August. So you have a dress with maybe long sleeves or whatever it might be, and now that's not going to happen for you. So it's difficult. I mean, I've been doing this since I'm 13 years old. I can't remember having weekends off, and now I'm going to go 8-10 weeks without working on the weekend. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. So we're all in this together. That's the one thing I keep telling people who come to me with their concerns and their worries is, listen, you're not alone. This is not just affecting you. It's affecting everybody. My sister-in-law is a nurse. If I tell you the stories I'm hearing, you'd be happy to be home. So everybody just stay inside, be safe. We're going to bring on one more person tonight. Let's see if I could do this right. Questions. How long in advance do you need to be notified if we decide to reschedule? So that's a good question. You should notify your vendors as soon as possible. If you're knowing that you're going to move your event tomorrow, then let's get it moved. Like Connie and Mike said, there's a priority list. Who's most important to you? Obviously, your venue has to be first, and then after that, you have to know what's important. And most people are going to say entertainment, photography. So you reach out to them, you figure out if they're available, but the sooner the better. And that's where I think things are getting a little hairy, is because people are in May, early June, and they're saying to themselves, I could wait, things will get better. But I just heard Governor Cuomo say this could be a 4 to 9 month thing. Now, I'm not scaring people. Brittany, who's watching this now, is getting married in July. She works in our office at the Park Chateau. She's nervous. It's a July wedding. We hope to be okay. The thing you don't want to do is wait too long and then all of your dates are gone. Now, if the person you want to work with is not available, then there'll be a suitable replacement. Unfortunately, that is part of our contract where we say you can postpone the date within 1 year of your wedding date, but it doesn't mean that the people or the services that you contracted will necessarily be available, which is obvious, of course. Options will be given. You can meet with other MCs and stuff like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't give you the right to necessarily cancel your contract, but options are given. The same way with the venue. You couldn't cancel, but we'll give you options to move to other dates the same way we would give you options to work with other event hosts. And I would assume that that's pretty much the case with a lot of other DJ companies. Of course, if they're multi-operational. If it's one person, it's DJ Brad, and the DJ Brad's not available, then actually we've had 2 clients reach out to us because their DJ is not available on their new date, and it's a single operation. So that's difficult as well. Again, it's a mindset. It's a mind frame of saying, I'm going to get through this. We're going to take it one day at a time. Yes, it stinks. I have to move my date. I might have to work with different people, but it's okay. In the grand scheme of things, if we're healthy and we're happy, and this is part of being happy, your wedding day, things will be okay. You'll get through it. It'll be a great story. You'll laugh about it one day, but you have to just keep moving in that direction. The wedding needs to be pushed further than a year. If you have to move it further than a year, we've actually had 2 people now just outside the 1 year mark. We'll move it. We're not, again, this is the humanity of it, the heart that we have to have as people. Granted, if you want to move it 2 years, that might be a little hard, but 1 year, we're there for you. 13, 14, 15 months, so on and so forth. We're not going to shoot it down. Again, if you could figure out these dates sooner than later and let us know so we can figure it out in our schedule, and maybe you could still have the person you want to work with, and that's the part of the May weddings. If you wait too long, you might lose a date, you might lose the person you're working with. So you are really in a tough spot, and I don't envy you, and I feel really bad. If you were my cousin, if you were my brother, if you were anybody, and you came to me and said, Ann, I'm getting married in May, what should I do? I don't want to tell you this because it's my livelihood. This is what I love to do. I don't want to stay home on a Saturday in May. I would move my wedding. I do not think we are in the clear come May. I don't. I think we're home in May. I think we're home in April. That's my opinion. I'm not a doctor. Don't take this to the bank, even though the bank's probably not open and you probably got to wait an hour and a half to get some cash. June, we've been having discussions every day on our FaceTime. It feels like with our company and other friends in the business, and we just don't know. Is it going to just snap back, or is there going to be a period where you have to wait? 2 months. Like, I don't even want to see my father. He's still going to work. Like if I don't, if I see him outside, I won't even hug him. Like that's how I feel right now. I won't hug my own father who goes to work because I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I'm bringing it home. So do we wake up in a month and the president or Dr. Fauci turns around and goes, oh, we have a cure, everything's good, let's go back? Fingers crossed. But what if it's not? If the CDC recommendation is still around for the new date, we need to downsize the wedding. We have to reduce the amount of services we already signed up for. That's an interesting question. It would depend. I think that's a case-by-case basis. That's the business part of it, where we're speaking about the humanity, but the business part of it too is that these services are there and we have contracts for a reason. Now, within reason, let's say you did 6 sparklers and you want to go down to 2, or you don't need X and you'd rather have Y. There's going to be a give and take. There's going to be a tug of war here between, again, the contract side of things and the human side of things, and it's really not that easy. I know there are some venues and vendors that are, back and forth with this now, and some are getting a little bit, it's getting a little tense with some people from what we're reading online, but they're running a business, and it's very difficult because there's a bottom line to all this. People have to get paid. People have been reserved. That's the one thing that's hard about our business is it's very rare to go to somebody and say, I want to use you or work with you, but not until 18 months. When does that ever happen? You want to buy a couch? You want to buy a car? You go get it, and you have it, and it's done. You could build a house in less time than I've done weddings for people. I'll meet with people in 2017, do their wedding at the end of 2019. You know, by then I can have 2 kids. It's wild. So it's not as simple. I'll say that it's not as simple and cut and dry as we'd hope it would be. You know, we are trying every day to figure out what's happening. You know, just researching and figuring things out. But again, I'll go back to my initial point. We don't know. We really don't know. All I would say is, if I'm getting married in May, I would move it. If I'm getting married in June, I'm taking it week by week, and I'm playing it out. I'm trying to figure out how things are progressing. So I have on here the John Hopkins CDC, the live globe. And, you know, if you click on the bottom of confirmed cases, that chart it's not flattening. And we talk about flattening the curve. If we don't flatten that curve and it continues, I mean, yesterday it was 304,000 cases. Today it's 337,000 cases globally. So where does it go tomorrow? Is it 380? Is it 410? When does it stop? And if it doesn't stop and it's middle of April, I'm probably moving my June wedding. If it doesn't stop the first week of May, I'm probably moving my July wedding, because I believe there's a 6 to 8 week gradual progression back. I don't think the governors are going to be like, okay, we're great. You know, everybody go party again. There's going to be these small bands and these small windows of 50 people together. Let's see how that goes for a few weeks. Then 100 people, then 150, so on and so forth. How are you handling new clients looking to do meetings? We're doing meetings obviously virtually, online. And people have been booking. We've been offering new incentives. People are home. They have nothing to do, clearly. I mean, you know, you could catch up on your Netflix shows and some movies you wanted to watch. But this is actually a good time. You know, there are things that people are able to do now that they haven't been able to do. A lot of people are very busy. We live in a go, go, go world. So a lot of times the brides are sitting at home and they're planning, and the grooms don't really want to get involved, but now they're home together. So they have time to go online. They have time to research. The negative is you're really not able to see anything that we're doing live, because people are like, oh, can I go watch it? But we haven't worked, obviously. And you won't be able to see us work for another 8 to 10 weeks. But if you go online, you do your research, and this is a time to get involved, to book, because it's all there. It's at your fingertips. You're together. You could talk about it, and you could take advantage of the savings. That's really what it is. But people are also scared to spend. So there's a back and forth here that we're trying to just tiptoe. I do want to bring in, if I can, let's see. Where are you, Danielle? There she is. I'm going to bring in Danielle from Blissful Planning. You like that straw?
You like my cup?
Nice! You know what? I had mine before, but it said #bride. And I had already drank a lot of wine out of that cup. So, but how are you, Danielle?
Good. How are you?
Good. Danielle is an event planner. She's obviously knee deep in all this. So tell me, the news broke. What were your initial thoughts? Where are you now? What's going on? Talk to us.
Well, at first, I wasn't concerned, really. I thought maybe it was going to pass. And then as it started progressing quickly, I was getting more concerned for my May brides, especially because I knew that everyone was going to be moving all at the same time and working with everybody and making sure that everyone was still using the same vendors. I knew it was going to be super important to everyone. So I was super concerned, and I still am. I have one of my brides I moved today to June because, like you mentioned, she does have a long sleeve, dress, and the only availability was July and August, and and the wedding is outside, so I can't, put her through that. So we're gonna hope for the best and moving it to June, and if not, we'll work through it and we'll make it work, but I think that everyone is working together, and I think this is like really showing the industry how important it is to have good relationships with vendors. I think this is a time where people are really going out of their way to make sure that their clients are taken care of. I find that really satisfying.
Have you been reaching out to all your clients? Because I know that we put together emails and and blogs, and Brittany's been amazing, and Jenna reaching out to clients, just letting them know, how we're adapting to the situation and what we've been doing. Like, have you been reaching out to clients, getting ahead of this curve, or how has that been going?
Yeah, I definitely have been making myself like so available that, no matter what time of the day, FaceTimes, texts, calls, like very personal. I usually am personal anyway, but very personal, like checking up on them, seeing how they're doing, sending them some positive, feedback as to like, do you like this signage? Do you like, just to keep them kind of going, because I feel like everyone's very down, and it's not very fair to them to feel like now they've come to this exciting moment and they're 2 months away after planning for a year and a half, and now it's just feeling like, oh my God, is this even going to happen? So I'm trying to keep it positive. Luckily, the wedding that I moved today, everyone's available, so it just coincidentally worked out, and I'm really excited about it. And I kind of gave her more positivity versus if I had to reach out to other vendors and work my magic with, different people. But luckily, everyone, including you guys, were super helpful in that, so that was good.
So, what are some of the concerns that your clients are facing now? Are they coming to you with? Outside of availability of family and friends, right? Because that's really what, I mean, if I'm in this situation, I'm like, who's coming? Like, you're going to have a wedding in May, and, let's just say everything went back to normal, like the beginning of May. Like, how many people are still going to be nervous to be together? That's what would concern me, because I don't want to have a wedding, 200 people drop down to 110. I'd rather just move it 6 months and have a banger than get screwed. I mean, using my Italian there.
Yeah. No, exactly. I think that personally, being a bride, I was thinking about that because there's some people that I really wouldn't want to have my wedding without. So I think that is so important that people are really making that decision based on that. And I think also what's really upsetting, especially being a woman and like looking forward to those moments in your life that you feel are, once in a lifetime, like your bridal shower and your baby shower. I think that is really a sad part of the journey, because you come so close to getting married, you're excited about your bachelorette party, and then it all gets taken from you. So I was kind of thinking about a way to incorporate having a shower for baby or bridal, like after their event, after you have your wedding, when everyone's in the clear, everyone's still excited and wants to have a good time. So I think that being able to have, I came up with like 2 cute names, like a blissful +1 when you have a baby. So after you have your baby and you're out and your baby's 3 months old and they can go out, you have your baby shower then, or like a honey shower where like you went on your honeymoon, you come back, and now you have your shower and you still get to have that moment. I think that's really important because I feel like everyone's feeling like it's getting taken from them. And I think if we implement that, it doesn't need to be in this time frame like society created, like it has to be structured a specific way. I think that no matter when you do it, as long as everyone's healthy and you have people in your life that matter, it's timeless. So I think that I'm really going to push forward to make sure that people feel that no matter if we have to move things, it'll still be taken care of and you'll still feel that, specialness.
Great. That's awesome. How do you see the future of this industry kind of playing out? I think things are going to be rough for a while here. So, like, what do you see?
I think that the industry, people in our profession especially, are going to be like networking more with each other. I think that at this time, in your contracts, you specify that if you're not available or something was to happen, you have somebody to be, to take care of that job for you. But that's usually someone in your, company. I think this is really going to create more of a bond between other vendors, like other DJ companies that you can depend on. Because if something like this happens again, God forbid, like you can't really prepare for it. And I think that being resourceful and thinking outside the box at this time is really going to help for the future. And, hopefully we don't have to ever go through this again. But if we do, at least we're growing, we're networking, and we're, meeting new people so that we can work with them in hopes, in the future. So that's my thought process.
It's just wild as you're talking, and I'm just thinking about what's taking place and how, Mike had sent me an article the other day about how the world is going to change, 30 reasons our world is never going to be the same. And, I was old enough to remember 9/11, and this is much different than that, because then we knew who the enemy was, right? There was a specific target. And now this is such an unknown that I just feel bad for people who don't know what to do and where to go. And you said it before, they feel like they're taking away, what they've planned for and their hopes and stuff like that. So, trying to stay positive, I think, is great.
And one thought I had about this, like actually today, was, when you have like a hurricane or something that happens in the country where it's affected, but you're not specifically affected, it doesn't really affect you. You're like, oh, everything will be fine by my wedding.
Right.
This is affecting everybody so equally that I think that people are really starting to be like, wow, like, when there's anything that's catastrophic in a different part of the country, you kind of aren't really concerned. If you feel bad and it's sad, but you're not like affected.
Out of sight, out of mind.
So,
right.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like people are really coming together at this time because everybody's affected by this. And I think that, that's the positive to it. It's kind of like you hope people remember this and are better people, and, in the future they make decisions based on how this current time is. Brittany had a question.
Yeah, she did, about invitations. That's actually a pretty good question. So you had your invites and now the wedding's postponed. Like, do you just take a Sharpie to the date and?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I would send like a nice postcard, something cute with the new date change. I would also add it to your website so that people can check it and make sure that the date, they have it on both areas. I think also at this moment on this postcard, you can make it match your invitation so that it looks similar to your invitation. Right. It shouldn't be like completely out of, just a random like Zazzle if you purchase beautiful invitations. I think you should specify in there, like, my bride for May, her wedding's outside. So we want to specify that people, like, the wedding's outside. It's not a confined area. It's only, 100 plus people. It's not a 350 person wedding. I think that you have to utilize what your wedding is to convince people to feel safe.
Yes.
I think that's really important. So I definitely would send a separate piece of paper, postcard, something, just to keep them, to be not nervous, basically.
Sure. Yeah, and that period's going to be tough. That end of May, early June. So let me see. We had to adjust our date to an entire year after our original date. Should we make another save the date and another invitation, or do we call everybody and then send another invite closer to the date? It's a good question.
So they sent a save the date already and they changed it, they're saying?
So they said, Stephanie asked, she said, we had to adjust our date to an entire year after our original date. Should we make another save the date and another invitation? Or do we just call everyone and tell them and then send it? I wouldn't send another save the date, right?
No, I would not. I'm really into the websites. I think that they're really nice, and you can change the information on there so frequently that people, like, I love when people put it on their bridal shower invitation to check the website. It kind of has all the information you need to have. Some people lose the directional part of the invitation. They can look online, see where the wedding is. I think you could put a Facebook post, anybody that's attending our wedding, please check out our website for the new date. Everybody's on social media. I think that's the way to connect with this, even in this time. But I don't think you need to send another save the date. It's a little much. I think when you send the invitation, maybe if you want to put something else, like, please make sure to check the date. It has changed since the save the date, just because people don't always, they put it on their calendar and they throw your save the date out, they might forget. But I definitely don't think it's necessary to do too.
Yeah, so Stephanie moved it an entire year. Her and Craig actually just got that today. They moved it to May 7th of 2021. And now, how late can you wait to send out your wedding invitations? I'm a July wedding and hoping for the best. So that's a good question. So July's looking to send out invites. Do you wait? I mean, if they're already in their possession and they ordered them, there's nothing they could do now. But what do you do if you're on that cusp? Are you waiting? Are you leave it up to you?
Either way, I think you should send them, because you're not going to go purchase a whole nother, however many invitations for your new date.
Right.
I think if you want to wait and you when you reschedule your wedding for a specific date, you can put something in the invitation with it and send it. But if you're not sure yet, I think you should send your invite. You spend so much time customizing it. You don't want it to be changed by, like you said, Sharpieing, like, no, send it, and then you'll figure out how to,
Right.
We are
I was
not
just teasing about the Sharpie. No, I would use whiteout and then go find a calligrapher and do it.
Some people will do that. Can't have that.
I'm just trying to make light of this because it's a difficult time and people are nervous and they're upset, and they should be. And but if you're not laughing and you're not smiling, it's not worth it. You can't drive yourself crazy because there's nothing you could do. And that was the thing that I was trying to, when I'm speaking to brides and grooms, I'm telling them, like, this isn't just you, right? This isn't your venue. It isn't your vendor. It isn't regional. It has nothing to do with your race, your religion, your creed. There's nothing to do with that, right? Yeah. So this is something that's attacking the entire globe. And the best we could do is support everybody, and you have to take it day by day. Those end of May, June, July, it's day by day, it's week by week. So what about flowers? So you have a florist, maybe you're getting married in April, May, right? You have a color scheme, your bridesmaids dresses, and now it's August, it's September, and now it's the fall. How does all that change?
Wait, you cut out. You're getting married in April and what?
So you're getting married in the spring, and now your wedding's in the fall. Your bridesmaids dresses, your linens, your flowers, now it's all changed.
Yeah. I mean, I know florists, when they book their, clients, they make sure that that the client understands what flowers are in season, what they can provide to them. I mean, you're not going to have a bride that's getting married in December that wants tulips, So right. The flower choice, I think, is definitely something that they can accommodate. But the colors, you got to make it work. You got to, if you get a burgundy dress, maybe you do some blush flowers. So it kind of, softens it a little bit. If it's going to be in May and it was supposed to be in October, I think that people just need to work with what they have. I'm part of this New Jersey bride group on Facebook as a bride, not as a business owner. And I see so much on there, and people are so connected and they trust each other's opinions and they ask so many questions. I mean, if you bought your linens and you're moving from December to May, you can sell your linens and repurchase something else if you have the time to do that. I think people just need to just take a deep breath and you'll figure it out. You always will. And I'm a control freak in my own life, so I'd be upset if that happened to me. But I would definitely figure it out and make myself get excited again, because you're just going to make yourself drown. This is the one time in your life where you can do whatever you want. And it needs to be your day. You need to make it special and not make it depressing.
Yeah, and another thing to touch on, people were asking me this. So I'm getting married on a Friday, a Saturday, and now my venue only has a Monday, a Thursday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday. I know that as soon as things snap back, I'm going to be out of this house 24/7, and I'm just going to be working around the clock. No complaints, because I already feel like I got to get out now. But people are like, what is it going to be like on a Monday or a Wednesday as opposed to a Friday or Saturday? Here's what I would say. People know your situation. And they're going to party harder for you, I think, in that situation than they would maybe the other way, right? There's going to be some sympathy there for what you're going through. They're going to pregame, they're going to come ready to go. It's just going to be like an all-out party. You feel me?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if that was one of, oh my God, if that was me, well, I don't know you're drinking on this video, so I wasn't prepared for that.
We've been in quarantine 8 days. I've been drunk 7.
Oh my God.
No, I'm teasing. I'm good.
No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, I mean, I definitely, as even a friend, would 100% make it like it never happened. Your date was originally on a Monday, and we're gonna make it the best we can make it.
Right.
I think that a lot of people, because it's affected so many people, I think that people are gonna be accommodating. If it didn't affect, if it was just like I told you, a hurricane or something that was just one area of the country, I don't think people would be as empathetic. But because it's affecting everybody in every industry too, I think that people are totally gonna come together and make sure that everyone gets taken care of and they feel like that's their moment.
Yeah, support. That's all we could do right now. The unknown is scary.
I know.
Uncertainty is something that people don't really ever want to have to deal with, but everybody's looking for answers, and it's hard to give it to them. I've been on the phone and emailing and texting clients. What do you think this? What do you think that? And it's just been it's been rough, because who's ever dealt with this? I mean, you got to go back to the early 1900s. You can't, there's nobody around that's 120 years old who remembers. I don't know how to put any of this to make any sense to anybody. But Danielle, I thank you for coming on. Is there anything else you want to throw out there before we? That's a very nice. What do you got in the back there? That's very beautiful. Well, neat. Yeah, very nice.
Thanks.
Very nice.
I just would say that, at the end of the day, you're marrying the person you want to be with. And if you have to do that at a later date, it's going to be okay. You have the rest of your lives to be together. I think you just need to be calm, use your resources, reach out to your vendors. We're here for you. And I just think that you just need to realize that, like, if you have each other, you'll get through it.
Awesome. Thank you, Danielle. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye. So that's pretty much it for this Monday night. I really do feel bad for everybody who's going through this, who's booked a wedding and doesn't know what to do. Take it day by day. Watch what's going on the news. Figure out if we're going to flatten this curve. Again, if you're in May, you probably got to think about it. You really got to think that this is going to be a little bit longer. And if you're in June or July, you got to take it day by day. But if you hired the right vendors, people who care about you and they're not in it just to make a quick buck, right? Yes, again, we have contracts, but we have a heart. We're humans. We're here for you. We don't want this day to have come and gone like this and add more stress to something that we already know is stressful. Right? You plan for this day, and now it's all thrown out of whack. But again, it's not up to you. There's a higher being here that said this is what has to be, and it has to be. And who knows? So, as far as we're concerned, we're still meeting with clients virtually online. We're willing to postpone the date within a year. There's no hidden fees and charges. We're willing to work with people the best we can, and that's really it. So, any other questions or concerns, you guys know how to reach out to us.